Isn't it interesting that you're on the other side of the mic today, answering questions versus asking them?
Yeah, it's weird actually, because I wanna
You like
interview you. Yeah, I like to ask people questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you finding this experience where someone has to ask you questions? Does it happen often enough?
No, it's weird, man. Nobody normally cares about what I have to say.
Do
To
you
be
think
honest,
people even know who you are?
nah. I think industry people know who I am.
Okay. The important people. at least.
The media practitioners, people that are in the media space, know who I am, but the broader public, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the broader public, do you think you play more of a behind the scenes agent?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me tell you about my story, né? So when I started doing this whole, to answer that question, when I started, I wanted to be the guy behind the scenes,
Okay.
right? Because I'm a journalist, right? I'm
Yeah.
there to document people's stories and all that. And I did that well for like 12 years or so.
Wow.
And then I started noticing that the industry is changing, whereby now there's some sort of like, there's a currency to also kind of like being in front of the camera,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Because now obviously it's the new age of the influencers as well. And also life becomes easier. You know, I'm a businessman, you know. I've seen people that get meetings with brand managers just because, hey, they've got X amount of social media followers.
Yeah.
And before I never took that serious. I was like, me, I don't want to be famous, you know. So, yeah, about 5 years ago, so I started being like, okay, cool, you know what? Because there's also some sort of currency to being famous, I also want to be in front of the camera and just own my narrative, if I'm just being honest.
Okay.
So I'm on a journey getting there, you know. Some people do recognize me. Hey, the journalist. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And I'm like, wait, I don't know you.
I think every media event
Yeah.
I've ever been and
Yeah.
you there, everyone knows you there.
Yes, you
Yeah.
know, people in the industry know me, but, you know, the broader public, I think it's getting there.
So it's interesting because you first then just decided, let me be behind the scenes.
Yes.
But then you saw that you more than just your brand too.
Yes.
So branding needs a face.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not just about. I realize that everybody, like, I think we're gonna live in an age where everybody's gonna be famous,
Okay.
right? That's just what I think.
Is it because of social media and what it can do? Thank you.
Yes, because now, you know, the especially if you're in the media industry, you cannot be the guy at the background anymore if you really want to make money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because people want to feel like, hey, I know you.
Yeah.
Before they even give you a meeting. If you want to talk to a brand manager of whatever company, right? If they know who you are, it's easier for them to be like, oh, hey, man, come meet me tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if you have to introduce yourself first and whatever, you know, then it takes longer.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get to a place, even brand managers themselves now have Instagram accounts where they are showcasing their work. Some of them even have like reality shows and all that.
Yeah.
So I think we are moving towards an age where everybody kind of like has to have, be a public persona, so to
Yeah.
speak. Yes.
What we have, everyone has something to offer. So we literally
Yes.
bringing it onto the platforms to say,
Yes.
this is what I specialize in.
Yes.
Get
Even
to know
if
more
you're not trying
about
to
it.
be like super famous,
Yeah.
but just to have like brand social media presence where you are intentional to say, okay, cool, I'm not just gonna post a photo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure it's a dope photo. If I'm gonna post the reel, you know, there's a certain messaging that I'm trying to portray to position myself. Let's say if you wanna be a CEO, you know, you're not gonna just post yourself in boxers, or you're not gonna post yourself being drunk.
Yeah.
You're gonna have an image of a CEO. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna wanna, because you know, and your following will kind of like respect you for that. Yeah. So I think all of us, we must start thinking about how to be brands. That's if you wanna make real moves and real money,
Yeah.
particularly in the entertainment and media space.
Okay.
You know. Yes.
So what inspired you to get into the media space? Being a young boy growing up in Warrington.
Yeah, Warrington.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from a small town called Warrington, Northern Cape, and yeah, it's a very small place. And if you say to people I'm from Warrington, they're like, where? You know, and I always have to make a reference of Kimberley and say next to Kimberley, even though
okay.
it's not next to Kimberley. Kimberley is about 45 minutes away.
Jeez, okay.
But that's the closest
town or known town.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know, and often people will be like, Northern Cape, do people live there, you know? People will always be making jokes, you know. But, you know, being from that place, I've always felt like I'm misunderstood in my community, or I didn't belong, because I was never good in sports, right? So there, growing up during my time, it's either you're going to be a sports star, or you're going to be good in something physical, or you're going to get into politics, or the usual doctor, or nurse, or teacher, right?
Or police.
Or police, you know. And like, I never wanted to be any of those things. And it was only at the age of 19, I think, when a comrade got a tender in my hometown to open a radio station. Okay. And they were like, literally like, hey guys, we have a new radio station, we need presenters like in 2 weeks' time.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, oh shit, actually I want to do this. You know, that's interesting to me because I've always followed media and all that.
Okay.
And then to cut a long story short, they took us through a crash course for 2 weeks, journalism crash course. And then the station opened, you know. And at the time, like I said, I was 19. And then they had a reporter come from Kimberley, from one of the Afrikaans newspapers, to interview me at the time because I was the youngest at the time, right?
Oh, nice.
And, you know, I'm like, damn, you know,
How old were you?
I was 19, you know, and I enjoyed the experience, the crash course. And I enjoyed the whole thing of like presenting a radio show. And on top of that, I'm on a newspaper. And my people are calling my mom, hey, Andile, you know, overcorrect, you know. And then, yeah, you know, my mom still has it cut out, actually, saved somewhere at home.
Oh, nice.
And then I was like, okay, I like this.
Okay. That's
okay.
Really, yeah.
And then I knew, okay, look, I don't know what's going to happen, but I need to be in the media space. And that's how it started. The radio station only lasted a month because they didn't apply for a license. Konjo, what's this?
Broadcasting license.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So we were on air illegally. So yeah, then we got shut down after a month. Broke us all, you know, because we were all like, oh man, it's such a dope thing that we're doing.
Wow.
And then now, you know, I don't know what happened, but that station didn't come back for like another 4 years. But at that time, me, I had already been like, okay, cool.
This is what I want to do.
This is what I want to do. And then I convinced my mom, like, yo, man, you know, I really want to go to Joburg because we don't have a media industry in Northern Cape.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, okay, are you sure? I'm like, yes, definitely. And then, yeah, man, I came to Joburg and then I studied journalism and media. And yeah, you know, please feel free to stop me from just rambling on.
No, go for it.
And then,
Did you graduate?
Yeah, I'm getting to that. It's taking me back now. So, yeah, I came to Joburg, you know. I went to Rosebank College, but the Pretoria campus.
Okay.
And I think that was like the best 2 years of my life.
Yeah, Pretoria is like that.
You know,
2 years is enough.
Yes, you know, because number one, I barely got through high school. I never failed or anything.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy school.
Okay.
Right, because I felt like, you know, I didn't know
why you were doing it for.
Yes, you know, yes, of course, obviously you need education, but like my best friend knew he wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
In high school.
Yeah, so he's maths and science.
He's a doctor today, right?
Oh, okay.
Another friend of mine wanted to be an accountant, right? He actually ended up being an IT guy. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People knew, okay, I'm studying maths, science, and accounting because I was like, I don't know. You know, so when I went to college for the first time, I was like, okay, now I finally feel like, okay, I belong.
And I'm doing something I want to do.
You know what I'm saying? Like I passed matric with like what? I barely passed matric. I think I failed maths. I think, yes. Okay. But I passed.
Yeah.
And then now in college, finally I'm like an A student now. You know what I'm saying? Now imagine being that guy that's like barely getting 50%, you know? And then now you're like an A student.
Yeah.
The lecturers like me. Everybody likes me because now, you know, even my personality, I have, you know, a humanity personality, right? Because I'm interacting with other creatives. And then I'm like, oh, man, wow, you know, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm doing this thing. I'm going to be a journalist or a broadcaster.
Okay.
But honestly, I had a low self-esteem. And I was like, I don't have what it takes to be like on radio, right? Because I've always hated my voice. And I'm like, I also don't have the looks.
But on radio, you don't need the looks.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to be a presenter or something, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
You need to tell us how you overcame.
I'm a decent writer, you know, so let me try the journalism thing, right? Let me focus on that, and that's what I did. And then when I was about to graduate, I was like, man, you know what's needed in the industry? A youth magazine, an online one. And then I tried to look for one to kind of like get an internship at. I couldn't find it. I think at the time YFM was the closest thing that I could get, or that I felt like I wanted to go to. But I was like, damn, YFM is in Joburg. I'm in Pretoria. And it was so intimidating, you know. At the time, it was like, yo, DJ's booze, yo. I was like, man, I can't go there. So I was like, nah, you know what? I'm going to start my own magazine.
Yeah.
You know?
And then take it at your own pace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to start my own magazine. Thought about it for a couple of weeks. And when the domain was started, went on air, not online.
Yeah.
When skipani.com.
Yeah.
Because my magazine is called Skipani.
Yeah, skipani.com.
When it went online, I was like, yo, okay. I guess I'm really doing this.
Yeah.
You know, and I never looked back. And I was like, you know what, man? I'm not going to go get a job. I'm going to push this till it pays me. Yes, and that's how it started.
Sure. Until it pays you.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
Then who's supporting your lifestyle in between?
So I think at the time I was 21. Yeah, because I studied late at the age of 20 because I didn't have the funds to go to school. My mom kind of like had to save for me and take loans. Okay. And stuff like that. So yeah, I only went to school at the age of 20, I think.
It's so privileged that the opportunity was still there.
Yeah, I know. I was really lucky in that way. In college, in Rosebank College, I met these other two guys, right, called Ali and Bonga. Okay. So they were studying graphic design, right? And they were like doing logos for students. Like they were hustling and here doing branding, designing posters for the school events. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So because yes, you know, they were those guys, you know, because obviously they were design students. So naturally I approached them. I'm like, hey guys, I want a magazine. And they were like, damn, we've never done a magazine before. Showed them references. At the time, the reference that I showed them was a website called ventilation.co.za, which was run by Slicker, Sugar Smacks, Nota, and Concho, who's this rapper guy? Just released an album now. He's a top chat. Yeah. You know him, man?
Younger Chief.
Younger Chief. Yeah. Yes. But at the time, I didn't know Nota. I didn't know Younger. Yeah. I only knew Sugar Smacks and Slicker from TV. And obviously these guys like are idols, you know? Yeah. And I used to love how, and I always say this to Sugar Smacks. And funny enough, I'm privileged to know him today. Yeah. He always used to go on TV and say, ventilation.co.za, you know? Every interview, you know? Yeah. And at the time, they were doing crazy numbers, right? But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. My point is, they were like the benchmark. I was like, yo, if I can have a website like this. I remember even the website had like the logo. It was like 2 matchsticks. Okay. You know, it was a hip-hop platform. You could download mixtapes there. I think there are the articles as well. And then I showed the gents. I'm like, yo, man.
This is what I want.
This is what I want. And they were like, ish, we've never done anything like this. But you know what? We're going to do it. Yeah. You know? And I was broke, obviously. And then they were like, and then I was like, look, I can't pay you guys now, but I'll pay you guys in 6 months. Yeah. They agreed. They're like, ish, man, you know what? We like you. We like your spirit. Let's do it. Cut the long story short. I think it wasn't even like 2 months or a month. Yeah. These guys call me for a meeting. And I'm like thinking, ish, I think these guys want money, you know? Because I haven't paid them. Yeah. And they say to me, they're like, hey, my man, you know what? We were talking and we want to be a part of this thing.
Of course.
Yes. You know, we want to be a part of this thing. Yes. And we want to be equal partners. We'll push it together. And yeah, you know, let's just push this thing, right? I'm like, at the time, I'm like, damn, man, you know, that's crazy. You guys, you know, it gave me the confidence. I'm like, of course, I've got nothing to lose. You know, it's not like, you know,
and you need them equally as much as they'll need you.
You know what I'm saying? So it made sense. I was like, okay, cool, guys. And then now we started strategizing how we're going to survive. And then I spoke to my mom after I left school. After I graduated, I'll explain the graduation now. Okay. And then my mom was like, I said to my mother, I'm like, look, I'm not going to go get a job. I'm going to push this thing full time. My mother was like, dude, you're crazy. How? I'm like, well, you know, the online thing, this is back in 2009, just to paint a picture. I'm like, this whole online thing is growing. At the time, Facebook was about 3 years old, right?
Okay.
Because Facebook, I think it launched in 2007 or 2006. So it was maybe 3 or 4 years. And I said, I want to grow with it. I want to be the guys that grow with this whole online media thing. And I'm not going to learn anything online at like a newspaper because they're traditional media.
Yeah.
I knew that back then.
Yeah.
My mom was like, you know what, man? I don't agree with you, but I know I can't make you do something that you don't want to do because, well, I'm like that. You know, once I put my mind on something, I don't change my mind. So my mom was like, hey, but I'm not going to pay for you though. I was like, no, it's fine. Just pay my rent for like 6 months. Then after that, I'm done. Like, you don't have to sponsor me with anything. So me and the guys sat down. We're like, okay, guys, how are we going to survive? Because we were all graduating at the same time. And then Ali and Bonga at the time had a graphic design company, you know, doing like odd jobs. Design a poster for like $200, $300 here.
Yeah.
And I think one of them had a job. Yes, Ali also had a job. So we're like, okay, cool. You know what? To make sure that we survive, because at the time, being naive, we thought in 6 months we're gonna blow up and we're gonna make money, right? So we're like, okay, cool. I'm like, no, look, man, my mom is gonna give me money for the next 6 months, right? From January till June. So I'll cover the rent. Let's all move in together. I'll move out of my place. So I moved out of my place that I was staying in at the time. Moved in the gents. They were staying together in a bachelor at Bosman Road in Pretoria.
Yeah.
I think it was City Place, owned by City.
City Property.
City Property, yes.
Yeah.
The rent was like at the time, I think, 1,000 something. I forgot.
Wow.
Or maybe 2K.
Yeah,
2K.
yeah.
I don't know. I forgot.
For a bachelor, ne?
For a bachelor, a very tiny apartment. And technically, I wasn't even allowed to stay there because they only allowed two people.
Two people, yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
It's got
Yeah, but you know.
Umkunyati.
Yeah, you know. So we were like, okay, we're gonna. So the first 6 months, everything was cool. We were working on the project every day, you know. Inspired, you know. After 6 months now, my chap is closed now. So we're like, okay, we need to survive. And then I think Ali still had an internship-ish job. And then we were designing posters and whatever. And then, can I tell you, that's how we survived. Hey?
Wow.
Yes, from those design jobs for like another year after that.
Wow.
Another year after that, that's how we survived. And we got kicked out of the apartment. I don't know how many times. You know, our friends even knew. We would call them, they've kicked us out. They locked us out. They locked us out, you know.
Can we come crash at you for the night?
You know what I'm saying? Go crash at, like, because at the time we had a lot of student friends. So it wasn't that hard because you would go, you know, sometimes you would split. Okay, I go sleep at this friend's house, you know, up until we can put together the money for rent.
And then you come together.
And then we come back again, you know. We did that for like a year.
Wow.
Yeah, a year or so.
Is this why you guys are building Keep on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think, yeah. And then, you know, it went on, it went online and all that. So to answer your question, that's how we survived.
Wow.
For like a year or two, yes.
That is incredible.
Yes, yes.
So I think when you always hear the backstories, people always say it's too far-fetched. Doesn't sound to be true.
Yeah.
But what kept you going in between, in the sense that, like, your motivation to want to do this?
It's the small wins, man. You know, it's the small wins here and there. I mean, at the time, I remember the website went online.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was just that we were all so proud that my magazine is online. Facebook is online.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, Joe, like I also have...
I'm on the platform with Facebook.
I have a platform.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And it's those random acknowledgements, you know. I remember what motivated me and the gents at the time to be like, okay, cool, we're not going to stop. 5FM reached out to us for an interview, right?
Ah, okay.
On Spare Nave show. I think the first time I met Spare, like for the first 3 years, I had never stopped thanking him until he said to me, hey, my man, it's okay. You know, I get it. I helped you out.
No, sharp.
You know?
Don't stress.
Because I'm like, you don't know what that did to us, for us, rather.
Fuel that engine.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes. And, you know, small wins like that, or a celebrity acknowledging, you know, an article, you know, saying something about it. You're like, oh, DJ Black Coffee or whoever said skip on, you know?
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, we're not going to stop.
Yeah.
That's what kept us going.
Never look back.
Never looked back. And by the way, the magazine only started making money 5 years later.
Gee.
Yeah, so it took us 5 years
Not
for
6 months.
for a brand
Yeah.
to put money
On the table.
in our account as a Skipani client.
And you guys still have to share it 3-way.
Look, we were just happy that someone is paying.
Yeah. So how do you get paid from having a magazine? Is it ad space?
Yeah, that's a very dope question. So what happened is we went into it obviously naive, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna call sponsors and they're gonna come advertise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then we quickly learned hey man.
It doesn't work like that.
So I went to an internet cafe. At the time, by the way, we didn't have internet. So the only way we would update the website is to go to an internet cafe.
Yeah.
At the time, it cost about $5 for an hour.
Yeah.
So what I would do is that during the day, I would go and kind of like put together articles, right? Like from newspapers and all that. And then rewrite those articles, right? And put them in a USB.
Okay.
So that when I go to the
Internet cafe.
I just upload.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
Because sometimes you don't even have the $5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
You can't 250 30 minutes.
you could actually.
Really?
It got to a point where we had very good relationships with the internet
owner.
Yes,
Yeah.
they would know us, and sometimes you'd be like, "Hey, my man,
Just really need this.
today I don't have." And that's what also kept us going. Some people will be kind enough to say, "Hey, man, it's fine,"
I can see what you're working on. Go
You'll
for
pay
it.
me when you
Yeah.
have, So yeah, we would do that. And I remember I was like, man, these emails, people are not replying. Also, we don't have leads. We don't know how to contact these brands. And one day I called a marketing company that was representing Outsurance. This is like probably in 2010. And I'm like, yo, I'm Andile, I'm from Skipani. And this lady starts laughing, right? She's like, Skipani? I'm like, yeah, it's a magazine. She's laughing. She's like, oh, man, what the hell is that? I'm like, no, it's a magazine online. She's like, okay, what are your numbers? Like, what's your circulation? And
People already wanted numbers.
Yes, but at the time, surprisingly, we were doing well, hey?
Okay.
I think at the time we were doing plus minus 15,000, 10,000.
Wow.
Yes.
This is 5 years later.
No. This is like
Okay.
2010, like a year later.
Oh, okay. Wow.
We had the numbers.
Wow.
Right? But even like today, even if you have like millions of subscribers or whatever, it's still very hard for black content creators to make money that they should be making.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there. Now
You
there's
need
like
to explain why after.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now this lady is like, hey man, we only advertise on platforms that do a circulation of 100,000.
Wow. Subscribers.
Yes, like circulation, meaning
Yeah.
like your magazine, it's either online or on shelves, minimum 100,000.
Okay.
Then you can call us back for advertising.
Okay.
Oh,
What are the numbers at the time?
Puma 10,000, maybe 15 on a good month.
Okay.
Because back in the day, it was still organic. It wasn't like now where they use these filtering systems where you post on the timeline, it doesn't reach people. Back in the day, if you had 10,000 followers on Facebook, whatever you post on Facebook, it is gonna be seen by your 10,000 plus. Because Facebook was still growing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They didn't realize at the time that they needed to, because now what they do is they kept that. So if you have 10,000 followers, if you post on Facebook, it's only going to reach maybe 500 people.
Okay.
Right? That's what they do now. And for you to reach your own followers, you need to pay them. And generally, that's the rule of the internet, right? That's how it works, right? And but at the time, it was still very organic, and you would reach the people that you want to reach. So we did have the numbers. That's my point. So now I was like, hey, 100,000. How am I going to get to 100,000? So now we're scratching our heads. So now we go back and we have a meeting. I'm like, guys, I have a solution for this. Let's print a magazine.
Wow.
Yes.
Isn't that going to cost more?
Yes, but an advertiser is going to pay for it.
Oh.
Well, that's
the idea behind it.
That's the idea at the time. And we started doing research, eh? And then I think we started printing, 6 years after that conversation. And that's the reason why. So Skipani had a print publication, but we didn't print 100,000. We printed, I think the most we did was 10,000.
Wow. And how long did it take to sell out?
It had it didn't sell out. So we would have returns, but we made money from sales.
Okay.
Yeah,
we
made
a monthly, like you had.
It was a bi-monthly.
Okay.
Bi-monthly. Sometimes we'd skip because we don't have the funds, but we spend a lot of money. We spend hundreds of thousands.
Sure.
On having a print magazine, but it worked in the long run for us PR wise, and that's how the brand got out there. But to answer your question, how do you make money with the magazine? Quickly learn that you can't do it through advertising, and we didn't know it at the time. And I think that, you know what, I'm probably like one of the first, or we were one of the first people to realize that how to become a digital agency.
Okay.
Because you soon realize, hey man, Outsurance is not going to advertise. But if I go to Outsurance and say to them, hey, here's a proposal and a plan on how to get young people with cars to take your
insurance
through our platform.
Yeah.
These are the ideas. Then we started noticing, well, they now give you attention because now you're coming with a solution as opposed to going to them and say, advertise here.
Yeah.
We didn't know it at the time, but that's how we started making money as a digital agency. But at the time, we were just thinking we're a magazine looking for advertisers. So today, if you're a content creator and you want to make money, it's not a secret anymore. You have to become an agency. So there needs to be an agency that supports your platform. And the agency all day, every day, you are looking at the format of your platform. For example, Mandy's Diaries. It's you, your voice, and then now you need to come up with ideas on like how can Mandy Diaries create solutions for brands in your own unique way that nobody else has.
Yeah.
Right? And then you just pitch those ideas. It could be events,
sense. Yeah.
And then you just pitch. Eventually someone's going to be like, hey, I like your idea.
Yeah.
And also it must be more than Mandy's Diaries. Yes. You must also think about other people.
Other things.
No, you must also think about other content creators as well.
Okay.
Because brands want numbers. So now if you say, hey, the journalist DJ, I have you can pitch me as well when you're pitching, or okay, the rollout of this campaign can start on Mandy's Diaries, and then you can go to the journalist DJ, then you can go to a podcast on McG, blah, blah, blah. Already what you're doing now, you're creating a big budget now, right? But you are in control of that budget. So now what's going to happen is that the brand now is going to be like, oh, okay, we like your idea, but here's the money. Now you're the guy that's paying everyone. Now you're calling me, or hey, journalist.
Now you're the boss.
Hey, listen, hey man, what can you do for me for 5,000? You know, then I'm like, hey, 5,000. Then you're like, come on.
Yeah,
you know, then you negotiate, right? That's what agencies do. And that's how you make money in the content space. But it took me almost 7 years to learn that.
Yeah.
To kind of like get it.
Trial and error.
You know what I'm saying? To say, oh, no, actually, we are not a magazine. We are an agency. Because we provide brands with solutions.
Yes.
And that's when we started thriving, because once we understood that, we were now able to go to brands. And at the time, we were one of the first people to do like consistent video content online.
Okay.
Right.
So you had already started with video content.
Yes. No, but I'm saying by the time when now we realize, okay, I'm going back and forth in the years, but I'm saying when it hit.
Just hit us on the year as well so we know where we at.
Yo, I'm very bad with years, hey.
Okay.
But I think 2000 and... Yeah, no, I'm an OG, man. I'm 38 this year.
Oh.
Yeah, when I started this, I was 23 or 22. So, yeah. So, I think the year was 2014. I think, okay, the first money we made was through Melanie Ramji. Shout out to Melanie Ramji. She had a client, MTN, and she was doing PR for them. And she really liked us at the time. And she was like, hey, guys, here's a chance for you guys to activate this. I don't know what MTN was launching in Soweto. I'd feel like as a street. Okay. And she was like, I have 2,000 for you guys. By the way, I didn't know she was negotiating.
Oh.
I was like, 2,000. Okay.
Yeah, take it.
This is 2013 maybe.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Like,
sure.
You're gonna give us 2,000. Okay. For what? No, just come and tweet and just take content.
Yeah.
That's what we do anyway. You know?
So now we're gonna get paid for it?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, you know. But now I'm like, Melanie, come on, man. 2K was you probably made 30K from us alone from that. But anyway, I still love you because it opened our eyes. Or not, I don't know, man. I mean,
you have to go through those though, hey?
Yes.
I think it also helps you in your confidence building.
Yes.
So by the time you are
yes,
the brand talking direct to the client,
yes,
you've got experience behind you. The confidence has grown. You know what you're talking about.
Yes, yes. Actually, I could be right. I think it was around 2011, 12 years, somewhere there. Around 2013, 2014. You have to go online to verify this in terms of the years. I honestly forgot. But the first check we got from someone saying come and shoot content and help us curate content because you are an appeal to a young audience was when the Department of Social Development started a very amazing project called Youth Camp. So what they would do is that they would go around the country and get young people, like teenagers from all over the country, and then they would take them away to like the first year was at Bloemfontein at the South African National Defence Force headquarters, and they would teach them life skills for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Right, just to empower, because the whole thing was that they wanted to empower young minds so that they can go back to the communities and make a positive impact, which was an idea by a lady called Z. Shout out to Z. And then we met her in Pretoria when we were still designing posters for an NGO she was working for, and she hit us up a couple of years later and said, hey guys, I like what you guys are doing for Skipani. Can you guys curate content for the youth camp? Right, we're like, oh, okay, cool, you know, yeah, you can do it, you know. And then when you look at the budgets, you're like, what? Yo. Really, you know, but we played it cool.
Okay.
You know, played it cool. Man, like, this was the first time now we are making money. Oh. Fela, this is not like a designer poster. No. This is like
proper money.
This is like proper money now. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can buy sneakers. I can buy a car, dude.
You can live.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, again, it hit us, but it didn't really hit us.
Okay.
That we were onto something, right?
You don't understand the magnitude of how big this can get.
We are the pioneers of digital content curation. But we didn't see it that way at the time. Right? So, yeah, man, you know, and we learned from that experience. Okay, cool. But because we had gotten a job from government, the mistake that we made is that we tried to get more jobs from government, which we shouldn't have done.
Why?
Because government
paychecks.
No. Because government is not about merit, right? We were just lucky that we provide a dope service, but government is more about who you know. We should have taken the same concept and went to corporate.
Oh.
Because why? Now we have a portfolio, we have reference,
and it's the legit reference.
You know, the mistake we made is that we were still going to corporate as content solution for Skipper, and as opposed to going to them as like
offering a service
for the youth.
Yeah.
Because now you get a bigger check. Skipper is just a small thing, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, yeah, that's what happened. And then, yeah, it was only, I think, now I'm going like to the future now. It was only, I think, 7 years in the business or 8 years in the business that we were like, okay, we now need to start doing things properly. And then that's when we had to be honest with ourselves. And the honesty was that we don't know how to run an agency.
So this is when you get someone with a bit more experience to guide you guys.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow.
Exactly.
I love the fact that you guys could reflect and
yeah, because we were like, okay, we knew how to do it, but, you know, we were winging it.
Yeah. Would you say you were more great with building relationships and connections versus the day-to-day operations of it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, because I didn't have, I'm going to speak for me personally. You know, normally a person goes to corporate, you get a job, you understand how corporate works, that environment, you understand the business language, you understand how to conduct yourself. Now, as a kid, fresh from college, and you know, I didn't understand the corporate culture. So even the way that I was sending emails was really like casual, but it worked for me because it was a breath of fresh air for these corporates. Because like, first of all, this guy is from a company called Skipani, and he's emailing me. He's saying, "Hey Tatabo, who's it? Hey man, you know." There was a bit of intention behind it, but I was just being honest, right? And then I would say, "Hey Tabo, Skipani," you know, and then "Hey Shosho," you know, and then I would say "Sharp sharp."
Oh, at the end.
Yes. Okay, right. That's not how corporates communicate.
No.
But it worked.
I'm not kind of guy.
Yeah, it worked for us at the time because we were like, oh, okay, good, these guys are cool.
And you're youthful, bringing that vibe.
Yes, but that hardcore business ethic wasn't there, right? That I kind of like had to learn later in my life. Or, oh, okay. But when I learned it, I realized that I work harder than everybody because now I didn't have days off because I'm so casual. I wake up, I'm on my laptop, I'm working till I get tired. And then I go eat, come back, work. If there's no event that evening, I'm going to work till like 9, 10, and then I pass out, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that that's not how the corporate world works.
Yeah.
People literally clock in at a certain time. They take a lunch. Certain time they clock out. You understand what I'm saying?
And there's deadlines.
You know, like, and for me, I was like, no, man, I just do it when I do it. And it was more on like how I felt.
Okay.
You know, which, by the way, now I feel like that was actually good. Like, if I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to work today.
You don't?
I'm not working today. I'm not. I'm going to chill.
You've got the leisure to do that.
I'm going to chill, watch movies, you know. Yeah. But
also because you've worked so much.
Yes.
In the beginning that you're allowed to do that now.
Yes. But it was not good. It was like, what is it called? It was chaos that worked. English people have a saying for it.
Yeah, I know it as well. Just can't recall what it
is.
Yeah.
It's you are living a chaotic life, but you're not even aware of it, guys. This is a chaotic life.
Yeah, because you don't know the structures, like you said.
Yes.
You guys didn't realize.
Yes.
You don't know how to run the business.
Yes.
So yeah, you must have gone through some chaos, but I guess it worked for you. It was your own way of navigating the space.
Yes, and then up until you get to a point where you realize that, hey man, I'm not making the money that I'm supposed to be making. Why? Right? And now you have employees, and sometimes you get to a point where, you know, it's month end and salaries are not in. Like you don't have enough money to pay people salaries. You shouldn't be having those problems. Now you ask yourself, what's going on?
Just keep on,
you know. And you look at the invoices, you're like, okay, but I have the money, it's just not in the account. Because this one guy, you know, like being an entrepreneur is so crazy. Someone will owe you money, right? And then you'll be like, hey, man, following up on the invoice. And they'll say to you, oh, no, you didn't send me this document. What document? Your SARS good standing. Oh, okay, I need to send you that. Oh, okay, send it. Okay, cool. Did you receive it now? When can we expect payment? Oh, no. We only make payments after 30 days of documents being submitted. And we only make payments on a Tuesday, right? When the sun is at its highest and the full moon is out. And they'll always come with this crazy. You're like, what?
But also, I think this information is in the contract. You probably didn't read the contract. You went to the page where there's the money.
It's not there. So let me tell you what normally happens, right? In the creative space. You normally deal with the marketing, right?
Okay.
And everything is good. You guys are getting along. They're loving whatever job you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Now, you now need to invoice. Total separate department. The finance people.
They don't know you.
I don't like the finance people because they will always come with these things. And they won't give you information the first time you invoice.
Okay.
Right? Oh, no. Oh, you're invoicing. Okay, cool. Send me the BE certificate, send me the tax clearance, send me your bank of confirmation, send me this. You'll just send the invoice and expect money to be paid. When you follow up, then they'll tell you, oh, no, I need this document. Oh, cool, you send it. It's going to take another 2 weeks. Oh, but you didn't send me this document. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll tell you, okay, cool, we're going to make payment on this. By the time now, when the money comes, bro, it's too late.
So it's good to have capital in the beginning.
No, it's good to have the knowledge of understanding how the finances work. So if you invoice, you must find out what is their finances. How do they work basically? What do they need? Do you understand? And how do they pay? Do they pay month end after you invoice? After how many days do they invoice? I mean, do they pay out? Blah blah blah. So that you are ahead of them.
But shouldn't that also be somehow your terms of how you work?
No.
To say I expect to get paid for my amount. Like, who's the bigger person in this?
No. You're not, because remember they are clients.
Oh, okay. And you're providing a service.
You're providing a service.
Okay.
So whoever is paying is gonna tell you how they're gonna pay you.
And your terms of service.
Unless you offer a service that you're like, you see, creative work is different, right? It's not like, let's say, if you're hiring out sound.
Yeah.
If you want my sound, I want 50% deposit or 100% deposit. Take it or leave it, right? But if you're doing creative work, campaigns and all that, like, work needs to be done first most of the time.
Yeah.
Unless you have really, really good relationships and they really, really need the service that you're offering.
Yeah.
But it's not good business to demand money first. What you need to do first, you must secure the contract first.
Show them what you can do, and then you can demand your money.
No. They must agree.
Okay.
That you're the service provider and sign the contract. Now you have the job, and then you do the job. Then you can follow up with the invoicing. Because if you first go, hey, the money, some of them would like, because remember, you're competing with businesses that have cash flow.
True.
They don't care about that money, like they've got money.
Yeah.
You understand? They're gonna get to the money anyway. And unfortunately, big corporate, they all see us in the same light. Or no, man. You can afford to
outsource service provider.
You're a service provider. You can afford to do the job without me needing to pay you first, right? Which unfortunately most creatives are not privileged like that, right?
That is so true.
Yes, because you need the money first before you do the job. But anyway, yeah.
How many people do you guys employ today?
Well, when I was just keeping, I think we had about 8 employees or so.
8?
Yeah, 8 or 10 or more even. That's how it was. Yeah.
So are they the ones then going out to events?
Yes.
Writing a blog about it?
Yes. So on my team, content team, I had 3 writers. I had a person for hip hop. I had a person for fashion and beauty. I had a person for house music, because I believe that, like, for you to excel as a content platform, you need to have someone that's gonna dedicate to something. I had a photographer. I had a videographer. Then, obviously you have your salespeople and all that. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And fast forward, now you run 2 other digital magazines.
Yes, I have 3 magazines. I've got
3, okay.
I've got the journalistdj.com,
yes,
which is dance culture platform, because I believe that the future of content is niche, right? So gone are the days where you have a platform and then you write about everything. Now, when people go online, they are expecting, like, they know what they want. Do you understand? If I'm in the mood for music, I'm going to go to a music platform. If I'm in the music for spirituality, gospel, I'm going to go to a certain platform. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, the journalistdj.com, it's all about house music, AMAPIANO, drum, AFROTECH, and just the dance culture in general.
Yeah.
So whatever we cover there has to do with that niche. And then keepbusy.com, it's about businesses. So I interview entrepreneurs. I talk about the culture of business and all that, And then vumanibo.com, it's about spirituality, church stuff, sangomas, that type of content. And I'm still building more. So my agency now is in the process of, like, just building more niche platforms. We need to have a lot of niche platforms, and then now you become like a conglomerate, because now you have a lot of platforms, you understand, run by one agency, but they cater to different yes. Yeah. And also coming from a business background of understanding that if you do content, you need to have your own insights. Okay. You need to be a thought leader. So with vumanibo.com, for example, the idea there is that the platform is busy gathering unique insights. How do sangomas operate? What do they do?
Isn't that information sacred?
No, not really. Like, it's a business at the end of the day. If you're a sangoma, you're a business, right? You are selling products, people pay you. So at the corporate level, it needs to be formalized.
Okay.
Right? And I know how to formalize it. And I'm growing with that industry in a sense where it's a big industry, but they haven't formalized themselves yet. So I want to be, or rather the platform wants to be the insights expert, right? so that we can now go and create our own products and maybe go to like a Castle Mixed, for example, because they play in that space and say, hey, man, we see what you guys are doing. These are the conversations that need to be had as opposed to what you guys are already doing. Or this is how we can amplify your conversations. I've interviewed sangomas from KZN, from wherever. This is what they are saying. And now this is how you can now improve your blog and your brand with these people. And this is how they use your product to consult. So now you see you are formalizing something that is very informal, but now everybody makes money because guess what? Now a sangoma is on a campaign. They're getting paid. The brand is happy because they're achieving their key messaging with their campaigns that they're doing. And of course, us as a platform, we are experts now of that community, rightfully so, because we interact with them on a day-to-day basis. So that's what you do. You do that niche, and then you just amplify it, and then, now you're a super agency.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of work,
I can imagine.
So that's the whole thing around it.
Is it all your platforms, are they youth-based? Is it to give information to the youth?
No. It's not.
Okay.
It's not. They're not all youth-based.
Okay.
The journalist DJ purely because it's dance music, high energy content, obviously for young people.
Yes.
KeepBusy.com, I would say it's a mixture of the young and old because everybody's in business, right? But we try and make the content lifestyle so that it can appeal to the younger audience. And also we're looking at the younger audience who are doing cool stuff to tell their stories, you know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
Yeah, Vumani Bo, it's also like mixed because more and more young people are becoming spiritual, pastors, sangomas and all that. Yeah.
I think when someone goes on your page, they're then able to realize like just how many events you attend. Like on average, how many events do you go to in a month?
I don't go
or in
to
a week, actually. I think that's it.
I don't go to as many events as I used to because now I pick where I go to.
Okay.
Right. But average a week I do about 3 or 4 events.
Okay. And how are you still able to cover so much information about, for example, the journalist DJ? How do you cover so much information just about dance music in South Africa?
Well,
it's like you're everywhere.
It's called
in that sense.
the tricks of the trade, right?
Okay.
So along the way, you learn not to work hard, but to work smart, right? So there are certain things that you kind of like realize, oh, okay, cool. I don't actually have to be everywhere. I just need to make sure that I have connections or I am putting myself out there in front of the right people so that they know how to feed me information. So every day I have like 10, 15 emails from the house community alone.
Wow. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Some of them are inviting me to events. Some of them are sending me music. Some of them need assistance. But I'm that guy. So, and that's the whole thing. And now it's about growing it. Yeah.
That's incredible. How does someone get into a digital magazine creating?
So look, these days I'm very proud of the current generation,
Okay.
I always meet new kids doing amazing things.
True.
These days people are just recording for TikTok, for Instagram, and guess what? They're successful at it.
True.
And I would say just find whatever it is that you're passionate about and focus on that niche. That's my opinion. So, for example, I like there's these new guys called Yanos Lyrics, and all they do is AMAPIANO content.
Yes.
They used to do a lot of like AMAPIANO lyrics, but now they just go to AMAPIANO events as well and just do interviews.
Nice.
I met that guy. It's a young guy. He literally, like, because he always wears a mask, né?
Okay.
When he does his interviews. I saw him without the mask and I was like, that's the Yanos guy. Just by the way he's dressed, he had like the green look thing happening and all that. I was like, man, are you the Yanos guy? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, And you can see the passion. That's why his page is growing like that. And for me, that's what it's about, man. It's about finding what you like. If you're a content creator, engage in that community. That community is going to love you back and figure out ways how to make money, which I just mentioned earlier on.
Yeah.
And now he's doing well. He's doing brand activations. He's getting invited to all the top AMAPIANO events,
Wow.
That's a very good example,
Yeah.
Yeah, so just do find a community and just stick to it. Yeah.
So you in quite a few communities because you're also into music. You're a producer.
Yes.
How did you get into music? Because now we've been talking journalism,
Yes.
and
Yes.
writing and videography.
Yeah.
How do you?
So you know the
Get into music.
the journalist in me feels like this interview, like I started at the end and now I'm going back to the beginning, which is a very bad way of writing an article, right?
Yeah, because you're not going to read it that way.
Yeah. So, remember when I told you about the community radio station?
Yes.
The reason why I was so drawn into it is because I wanted to be a DJ.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. All
So
right.
I wanted to be a DJ first, right? And I think I told Tabang the story, and I think he had it, a footage of it. So in high school, I entered Battle of the DJs, and it's a very long story, but I'm not gonna get into it. So I flopped.
Okay.
I flopped, like I bombed. It wasn't because I was a bad DJ.
Oh,
It was
Daddy
because the guy that was supposed to teach me how to DJ, well, he was supposed to give all of us a crash course on DJing, didn't like me, right? Because he was a teacher, and he used to date young girls at school.
Oh.
And I used to speak out against him publicly. So he knew, right, there was this guy, this young boy who's always talking trash, right? Unfortunately, he happened to be the guy that owns the DJ equipment, and he was running the show.
Yeah.
Right? So now
The irony.
everybody had a chance to practice, right? Except for me. Now I practiced for like maybe 10 minutes. Even 10 minutes is long.
He was like,
It's like, we'll press a saw and then we'll mix a saw, yeah, with an attitude, right? It's like, man, this guy. So obviously, imagine you know, and then now I have to DJ, and everybody kicked my ass. I couldn't beat match. I had a dope track selection.
Okay.
But if you know anything about DJing, is that number one, we were DJing with CDs, right? So these are already mixed compilations from back in the day.
Okay.
So you really have to be really dope. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't like now where you have like a DJ song, like no, right? So and also these were his CDs as well.
He owns everything.
Yeah. So the idea, listen, Battle of the DJ, it's a very simple concept in high school. Every year it happens, and the school empowers kids that are creatives, right? The teacher is being paid. He's got equipment, he's got sound, he's got everything. A week before the show, every day we need to come in, practice. He needs to be patient, teach us. Okay, this is how you mix. But because now I'm speaking against him being a predator, a rapist, in fact, because the kids were underage.
Wow.
So
That's terrifying.
I know, and this guy we're in boarding school. So now you mentioned this. I went to a boarding school where there's like boys and girls.
Okay, co-ed.
He was staying in the same hostel, but at the teacher's quarters, right? Because obviously he's a senior.
Okay.
And then now what he would do is that he would look at the pretty girls, the ones that he likes, right? Of course, he's a teacher, he's got money, whatever. And then he would like influence girls. The ones that are in grade 11, grade 12.
Almost manipulate them in a way.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He would have sex with them. He did this every year, right? Never got caught.
Wow.
And I would speak, I would like, but the thing is, because at the time I'm young, I don't know how to approach this situation, but I knew it was wrong, you know. So he knew that I didn't like him for that, and so it was his way of punishing me, and that's why I bombed at the Battle of the DJs.
Wow.
Bad. And I was so
story.
heartbroken, man. I even went home. I even went to the room and I cried after that. And shout out to my Glazer, man. He passed away. You know, he came, you know, and he was like, "Hey, man, it's okay. We all fail at some point, you know." And my Glazer was like, mchita, you know, one of those guys that used to tease and, you know, bully people, you know, but in a fun way. And he felt so bad for me. You know, he gave me a pep talk, you know. And then I was like, I'm done with this DJing
Aren't they
thing.
always softies inside those types?
Right, yes. And I was like, I'm done with this DJing thing. At that time, I was probably like grade 10 or something. And then, but after high school, I was like, no, man, I want to go back to DJing, you know. So I slowly went back. I started with a laptop. Then I had another friend who had CDJs. Then, you know, I started practicing there. And then, because at the time, remember, I didn't have money to go to school. I took a gap year, but what I was doing during that gap year is that I was actually preparing myself to go to the UK, because at the time, the house music community adored international DJs. I was like, hey Joe, I know how to rob the system. I just need to go to UK, work at a call center, right, and DJ at clubs. Now I'm an international DJ, release music, and then 2-3 years come back to SA.
Big
right?
DJ.
Yeah. That was my original plan.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So when my mom was saving money, it was either I go to the UK with that money or I study. And then I chose to study.
Okay.
So to answer your question, yes, I've always wanted to be a DJ. It's just that when I came to Joburg, the journalism thing took over because Skipani really took off. And then I focused on that. And then 8 years into Skipani, I was like, nah, I'm going back into production and DJing. So yeah, today I am a DJ / artist, go by the stage name, The Journalist. Please check out my music, man. I've got about 5 songs, you know. Check out my mixes. I'm a dope DJ.
Yeah,
you know,
you actually do get gigs. You get gigged.
Yes,
you get booked for gigs.
Yes. I play like an average 1 gig a week.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not at the level that I want it to be yet. But it's okay because you know why? I'm taking my time with it. A lot of people always ask me, hey Joe, why don't you ask Bunny to put you on? I'm like, no, because it's my own journey. You know, and I'm doing it because I really, really care about it. I don't want to take shortcuts there. Right, I really want to build my own audience for that, and so far it's going well. So yeah.
So it was at the perfect timing because had you gone with the money your mom gives you to the UK, it was going to be the shortcut. Ne? You knew how to rig the system.
It wasn't going to be the shortcut, but it was going to be. It was going to work. It was going. I think it was going to work for me. It's just that it was going to be tougher because there's more competition in the UK.
True.
You know, it's like, you know, I'm glad I actually didn't do that.
You went this route.
Yeah, I'm glad I stayed here in Mzansi. Because look at now, UK brews are the one fanning on us now. You know what I'm saying? I play AFROTECH. The best AFROTECH DJs are from Africa.
Yeah.
The UK brews are the ones that are booking them. You know what I'm saying? So it happened the other way around. So it's like rappers from that age wanted to go to New York.
Yes.
You know? It was the same thing. Now it's like, no. I can rap here. They'll book me that side.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That is so true, actually, how it's changed.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't go. I stayed here, did my own thing, and it worked out. You know what I'm realizing now, Mandy? And I know we take a lot of time. I didn't tell you about the graduation story.
Yes.
So...
Of how you graduated tissue, ne?
I didn't graduate.
Okay.
I graduated. So I passed all my modules, ne? And then I was supposed to, before you graduate, you need to do like an internship thing so that you can get the hours and then you can graduate. And then I started Skipani and I proudly went back to them. I'm like, guys, I didn't go to a company. I started my own. And they were like,
that's how much I've learned.
You're crazy. You need to go to a proper media institution and get your hours in there. Otherwise, you're not going to graduate. I'm like, what? Screw you, Rosebank College. Then I guess I'm not graduating. You're saying my company is not real.
Were you registered and everything? SARS tax clearance?
I'm registered at CIPC. It's a real company. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Yes. And they're telling me I can't.
What's the difference?
Like,
and how many hours have you put in?
I'm like, you guys should actually reward me more because I took the initiative. And one of my lecturers agreed. They were like, yeah, why are they doing that? You know? And they didn't want to. They were like, nah, you're crazy, dude. You're not going to get your diploma. And I was like, okay, screw your diploma then. And that's why I didn't graduate.
But you got what you needed from the knowledge.
Because I was like, I have the knowledge,
really need, right?
I don't need your paper because I'm not going to look for a job anyway. So I don't need it. But I felt bad for my mother because, shame, she wanted to have it printed out and the graduation
and the
photos.
Of you.
I still feel bad because I didn't give my mom that. It's like I didn't give her that whole thing of
that's
like.
That's a tough one, eh?
Yes, of like the whole graduation, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point when she sees Gutai's into Zambagahle, he's making good money, doesn't have to ask me for petrol money anymore. Yes. It's also like, okay, his way was actually right the whole time.
Yes,
you know.
Yes. I mean, but still, I know she would have wanted. You know, maybe I should study something. Maybe a crash course for her. You know. So
have you not done any courses in media since that?
No. Everything else has been self-taught.
No workshops, nothing.
No. You know why? No? Because I realized early that YouTube tutorials are your friend.
Okay.
Number one, I didn't have the funds to go to extra things and the time. So what I try and do is that almost every day, I always try and school myself about the new trends of media, anything actually.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of tutorials. Now there's a lot of AI platforms, AI tools that help, I do that a lot. So when it comes to the knowledge, I'm very advanced. You would swear I went to varsity or whatever, but it's because of I school myself. Never stop learning. Make sure that you make time to read, make sure that you improve, upgrade your skills. Otherwise, you're gonna be a dinosaur.
That's true.
Otherwise, these kids are gonna come and you're gonna be like what's happening to legacy media today, and why a lot of them are not making money anymore. They are shutting down because
why do you think that is?
Because they didn't want to grow. And
they change with the
they didn't want to adapt. Do you know how many times I've approached legacy media to say, hey guys, let me do a podcast for you. Let me help you. You're a dope platform. Let me help you curate video content and all that. And then as an agency, you guys pay me or we can share the money or whatever. Most of them shut me down.
Wow.
You know why? Because legacy media is owned by institutions that excelled in racism.
Okay.
Right? So people that make decisions up until recently were old Africans Bruce. So they always felt like, but we don't need you. But they couldn't adapt. Even their own employees came to them with fresh ideas and they turned their own employees down. Because they are no visionaries. It's companies that were taken over from their great-grandparents and stuff like that. And those generations, they're like, they don't know how to hustle, right? So that's why all of them are dying a terrible death.
Sure. Yeah. I've actually seen a lot of newspapers nowadays, not a lot of magazines on shelf anymore.
Yeah, because, you can't make money on it doesn't make sense. They had the opportunity to upgrade, and they chose not to.
Yeah.
Now you get a kid from Yanos Lyrics who opens a page. In 6-12 months, he's doing more numbers than Drum Magazine.
Imagine a whole entity that employs so many people.
You know what I'm saying? With one phone. Right?
Probably not even the most expensive one.
Yeah, but for me, I'm like, it's cool because it's about time that we own media as blacks,
not the prescribed media.
Yes, it's so, it's so sad like that we don't own any social media platforms and it's hurting us now. Look, Elon Musk bought Twitter. Now he's lying to the rest of the world saying that we are busy killing white people in South Africa. And people are believing him because he's got a platform, right? Now imagine we can't even fight back.
With what? We don't have anything
we don't
to fight
have,
back with.
There's not a single black person that has a social media platform that is as powerful as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So if those guys are evil and decide they're going to spread lies, they can do it.
True.
And there's no way of us fighting back.
Yeah, because whatever you're posting is on their platform anyway. So they can filter information, be like, we're not going to.
Yes.
You see, whatever you wrote, as important as it is, it's got one view or whatever the case is.
And that's exactly what's happening. So even though we are the ones that are the lifeblood of social media, we don't own the platforms. And now we're paying a heavy price now. You know what I'm saying? Without blacks, bro, like social media is nothing.
Yeah, propaganda is real.
We set the trends every day.
True.
We are the talent. But I think we're going to get there. Kancane, we need to start with opening Instagram accounts, and eventually we're going to have developers that are going to be like, you know what? Let's create our own. We just need to support it because we have the numbers.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Very
man.
true.
But we're going to get there, I believe. Yeah.
I think, dude, like, you so, like, into so many things. We haven't even touched music at all.
Yeah, we spoke about the DJ.
Yeah. Well, just a little bit, but I'm just saying, like, there's so much more into your music.
Yes.
You, like, release music.
Yes.
I think your last song was, what, 2023?
Yes, I released a song called Sabela 2023.
Yeah.
I'm busy with the remix package now.
Okay.
Because I just feel like there's so much music getting out there. I don't want to release too much new music. I want to re-release because I think my old stuff is dope. Just wasn't pushed correctly. And I'm re-releasing now to push it correctly. But I suffer from the creative gift and curse.
Okay.
So when you're a creative, you've got like crazy 100 ideas, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you execute them? So for the first 10 years, I was like, okay, I'm not going to do anything else besides skip and then after that, I was like, okay, cool. Because I have established there's something that I'm good at. I'm going to try other things. So I listen to a lot of music. I attend a lot of events. And I have my own vision on how I want some music to sound. Because I don't enjoy DJ sets. A lot of DJ sets, I think most people are whack, man.
Sure.
And a lot of music that gets put out there, I think a lot of it is whack. So I want to do my own interpretations.
Are you saying that because there's always a label backing them, or
no? I
just being an independent artist, putting your stuff out there is also not an easy task.
I think
you can upload
I think social media is a gift and a curse because now back in the day when you wanted to release a song with a label, there were processes, and those processes were there because it's expensive. It was expensive back in the day to release music, because now you have to take, number one, a recording studio, right? You have to get a sound engineer, proper mics, mixing desk, and all those things. Back in the day, there were no softwares. So a kid couldn't just come with a laptop, get a cheap mic, and record a hit, right? You had to do it properly. So there's a cost to that. To release that music, you need to be printed on a vinyl, CD, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's another cost. Then there's PR and marketing, another cost. So for a label to release music, they have to do a lot of gatekeeping and make sure that the artist is really, really talented and the music that is sounding really, really dope, because it's expensive and they want to make their money back. And that's why back in the day, in the 80s, 90s, we had such amazing music. Everybody was a superstar because the processes to release music was harder because it was costing money. Not just anybody can release music, right? As opposed to today. Everybody can just release music and all that, and there's so much noise, so much trash. Do you understand?
You have to filter through
and I'm like, I'm forced to be an artist because I'm like, there's so much trash. I genuinely do not enjoy being out and listening to people's music because most of it is trash.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I enjoy my own music. I enjoy my own DJ sets. So you know what? There must be at least 50 people,
who feel like
50,000 people like me, and I just need to find that community. And the goal there is that we just need to vibe together.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of finding my own music community, like how I found my content community. You understand? So that's the journey I'm going on, and that's why I'm not trying to take the shortcut, because every time I play, I kid you not, minimum 4 or 5 people, mostly guys. That's what I'm noticing. I appeal. They come to me, they're like, "Hey man, that was a dope set," And I can tell her, okay, you didn't have to come to me, especially guys, because guys have egos. So I just need to find 100,000, 50,000 of those people, and then we can vibe together every month. I can release music to them. That's the whole goal. That's the whole vision.
Do you think AfroTech is underground in terms of its sound or its popularity?
I think AfroTech in South Africa is still niche.
Okay.
Still very much underground, but throughout the rest of the world, it's a big genre.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but the reason why it's niche in South Africa is because the artists in South Africa are very selfish with the music. They don't want to release the music because they're enjoying the euros and the pounds. So they don't care about the local market, right? So
explain how? How are they enjoying the pounds?
So I was talking to Kasango about last month. Shout out to Kasango. Kasango is the guy that created Osama with Six Bantwini. And I was like, hey man, I haven't seen such a long time. He's like, yeah man. I'm like, actually, I know you travel a lot. And I'm like, and I'm like, average, how often do you gig? Whipped out his phone, show me. Last year alone, he had 218 flights.
Wow.
Right? Now, if you ask anybody who Kasango is... 218 flights.
Yeah.
If you ask anyone who Kasango is in South Africa, they don't know him. Maybe they know the song Osama. This guy is a big deal. Do you understand? He's making so much money. He probably gigs almost every day.
Imagine.
The whole year. Do you understand? So people only know Black Coffee. So that's how big AfroTech is internationally.
Yeah.
Go to Asia, you go to Europe, even Americas, So there's a big market out there. But in South Africa, people don't know the music because here there needs to be a culture. Music needs to be released. The AfroTech guys don't release music because they rather have a song and they just play it at their DJ sets, and then people go to their shows to listen to their music.
Yeah.
So they don't feed the culture. It's more of like a festival club culture.
Yeah.
And I
They're
think
actually moving at their own pace.
yeah, but it's bad because the ecosystem is flawed because only 5-10 niggas are eating. Right? From South Africa.
Yeah.
Whereby
Everybody else.
whereby it has the potential to like AMAPIANO.
So there's gatekeeping in there as well.
Gatekeeping in the Afrotech space is crazy.
Oh, gatekeeping, guys, is a whole subject. Like, we need to sit one day and just talk about gatekeeping because it's so big in this entertainment industry. It's like in pockets of everything.
Yes, so it's doing a disservice to the genre as a whole, you know, especially in the continent whereby it could grow. In my opinion, I think Afrotech is the most amazing genre of music that there is in the world.
I call it expensive music.
Yeah, and the reason why it's like that is because it's very exclusive. Shouldn't be exclusive.
Okay.
The biggest AMAPIANO songs that always come out are influenced by Afrotech. All of them.
Give us an example.
Mnike.
Okay. Yeah.
The original Mnike song. Yeah, Nick. Nick. Yeah, Nick. Nick. Afrotech song.
Ooh, interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
So how would you then grow?
Haike. Afrotech song. There's a lot, man. Like, even the bass line, Emitandas.
Yeah.
That
Like those are the small.
Yes, that whoo. We call it deep bass in Afrotech.
Okay.
Kususa made it a unique sound. We call it this 222. Like it's like whoo, like it's like Afrotech.
Okay.
Slow down.
Oh.
Like there's a lot. You name a song, I'll tell you.
BPM, ne?
Yes, they take down the BPM and then they just put some AMAPIANO elements, but it shows you the music is dope. It's just that, you know, there's no culture for it because we don't have a Kabza the Small that's
You've got a Black Coffee.
When was the last time Black Coffee released music?
Yeah, no, I don't even
doesn't.
remember. No.
None of them do. They release music here and there. Even so.
Yeah, but then that allows other people in the space to, if you were to speed up the pace, you're able to release in between.
Yeah, but the problem is that there's a big disconnect. AMAPIANO blew up because it had a DJ Maporis.
Okay.
Someone with a big platform that just connected this underground movement to now a big platform, and him being a brilliant producer to make it more commercially viable.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Kabza the Small was going to blow up anyway.
True.
But would he have went the direction that he went to? Probably not.
Who knows?
You understand? So a Black Coffee, for example, could be that guy, but he's not.
Yeah, I get you.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And unfortunately, we have a lot of guys releasing, but they have 100 followers, 50 followers. So the music becomes very underground. Do you understand? It doesn't have that culture yet. But shout out to DJ Shimza, because Shimza is doing Kunye and You Are. At least there's a platform where Afro House is blowing up. Shout out to 3-Step. It's a movement that's blowing up. You know, which is also a subgenre of Afrotech, obviously. So, which is a mix of AMAPIANO and Afro House.
Okay.
Yeah. But for me, I feel like it's leaning more towards AMAPIANO.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think it's maybe the AMAPIANO version that can be accepted internationally?
No. You know, I think AMAPIANO is dope. But internationally, I mean, look, I'm still yet to see the numbers of people that consume AMAPIANO internationally.
Okay.
Like, how many of them are there?
Like, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what are the stats saying? Yes, we are getting a lot of streams, but where are those streams coming from? Because if you look at the AMAPIANO event, international, let's say the UK, for example, it's blacks from... It's not even blacks from the UK, most of them.
Yeah, it's African people.
It's South Africans, it's Zimbabweans, it's Nigerians.
Yes.
Who are abroad. So would you say that AMAPIANO is international? Yes, technically, because the shows are international, but who is consuming it there?
And who's in the headline in that sense
Is there a festival where it's like Europeans, 90%, and it's an Amapiano event, I don't know. You have to show me. Right?
Yeah.
So it's international, but it's not really international. It's like Africans outside of Africa.
Nota said the same thing. He said it's African people in overseas playing that music.
Yes.
They're the people that are making it popular.
Yes.
If they're having a show, they're having like a club night, they're the ones curating the let's have Amapiano artists come to the event.
Yes.
Whereas if you look at shows like Afro Nation,
yeah.
What's the other one you said? Ultra, you look at Coachella, they're not necessarily the lineup artists, you know, the artists in the lineup.
Yes.
They like maybe second, third.
Yes.
You know, there's a big lineup of people coming and then they just like other artists that are there versus how we would take them in our own country.
But I will say this, I will credit Amapiano and say Amapiano is the first South African genre that I've seen that is making people curious about the culture of South Africa.
Yeah.
Because of its cool factor. Amapiano is very cool. Every other week there's a new dance.
True.
Right? That people from across the world gravitate towards. Right?
Yeah.
But they are not really like in the culture. They just like the cool aspect. It's like a white person that likes baggy jeans, or okay, that's a better example. That likes like a fitted hat. You know what I'm saying? But he still likes country music.
Yeah.
Even though he looks hip hop, he's not really hip hop.
Okay, I get you.
You know, so it's like that. So, and the reason why I'm saying is that I had an honest conversation with the Amapiano DJ, and they say, "Yo, man, DJing for an international crowd is so tough because they don't know the songs. They just know dance challenges."
Yeah, that 30 seconds of a song.
Exactly. So it's not the culture per se, but it's a good start. And that's why I support Amapiano in that sense. It's breaking down those doors. Yeah. I think Amapiano just needs time to grow, man. And it needs people to do their own interpretations from other countries. I personally think it's because the BPM is too low.
Okay.
It's too jazzy. You understand? And the youth of the world, they are high energy.
They want the 3-step. It's a bit up-tempo, Afro.
They want doof, doof, doof. You understand? And Amapiano is too slow. It's for the South African ear.
Okay.
Because remember, Amapiano was born by accident because MFR Souls, they were trying to recreate soulful house music. Okay. Because they were DJing at a lot of Chisanyamas. So it's a Grootman genre, Grootmans who are tired, with their mkabas, they have car wash, you know, drinking their 15-year-old bottles and enjoying, you know, teenage things like that, if you know what I mean. So up until they can realize, or no, man, we need to keep the BPM. But the problem is that they're going to lose the South African audience. If they do that, they might lose the South African audience. But yeah, I think that's what they need, man. Make it a bit more up-tempo, more collaborations with world stars. Yeah. More collaborations with, you know, like now Georgia Smith and Major League just did a song. It's not Amapiano, it's AFROTECH, by the way, which is interesting. But yeah, you know, stuff like that, man. You know, Beyonce needs to jump on it. Yeah. Stuff like that, yeah.
I actually think like you've mentioned now, Major League Boys for me are like the epitome of being an artist. I mean, they did hip hop. When they saw there was a market, they went into Amapiano. Now it's like they are the pioneers of the trends in music. You know, they go before everyone to be like, I think the future is there. Yeah. And then they go. And suddenly people follow slowly. Because their sound has really changed now that they're international stars.
You know, Major League, they're very interesting guys. But for me, they are DJs. Right? True. Like, what is a DJ? A DJ is someone that plays music for the crowd. And whatever gets the crowd going
is what they're going to play.
You know, they're not purists like that. And that's why they get so much criticism. Because people don't understand, or no, man. You know, you get pioneers of sound, like Black Coffee. Black Coffee has always been an Afro house guy. You understand? He's a pioneer of that sound. And I don't see Black Coffee DJing Amapiano or switching to anything else,
No,
right?
never.
Yeah. So major league DJs are entertainers, right? And they are about, okay, we're gonna do whatever is trending,
Yeah.
and they don't care.
Yeah, but isn't that being an artist?
No.
No, I mean an artist as in the bigger word. Like
No.
when you do art, you
Yeah.
are able to, like for you, for example,
Yeah.
you are making music.
Yeah.
You also have digital magazine platforms.
Yes.
So you're doing two things. Why do you want me to be only this type of music, whereas I can play everywhere and for everyone?
So it's if you
So
are
you're forcing them to be niche and they don't want.
if you are a creative,
Yeah.
nah, you obviously have various talents. You can do one or more things. But what makes someone amazing is that they need to be really amazing at one thing and pioneer that to the next level. Because when you move around like that, you're a dope DJ, but you're not really a pioneer at anything.
But I'm making money because of how I've positioned myself in the entertainment space.
Exactly.
So you, the lover of your music, I mean, congratulations, you do that.
Yeah.
My focus is trends, and I'm gonna make money that way.
And that's a conversation that we need to have more of understanding. Are you an entertainer or are you an artist?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Hey, artists, they gatekeep this word, eh?
No.
Artist.
Look, for example, Uncle Waffles,
Yeah.
classic artist. I mean, classic entertainer,
Yes.
right? She entertains a crowd. You know, she's not for everyone, but she's for you at some point. At some point, I want to go to a party and not be listening to the music like that. And I want to be taking shots and I want to have sexy girls around me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's when I need an Uncle Waffles in my life.
True.
At those 5 hours when I'm at that club.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I'm in my lit state. I'm not trying to think about a song. I don't even care what song is playing. As long as it's banging and the women are loving it, I'm happy. I'm glad Uncle Waffles is there also shaking her titties. Right? But as a music consumer, I like what I like. I like certain music. It needs to appeal to my emotional intelligence. Do you understand? Because I'm not stupid drunk every day.
All the time, yeah.
Do you understand? When I'm driving long distance, I want to listen to something that's going to touch my soul. That's going to make me feel like
What a short drive.
it's going to replenish me. Do you understand? That's when I need like Afrotech or Deep House. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I need a real Afrotech or Deep House artist to make that music for me.
Okay, I get you.
You know? But both artists are important. I like both entertainers are important, but I like the artists more. Because the Uncle Waffles, there's so many of them, and anybody, to be honest, can be like an Uncle Waffles, right? Provided in what you're comfortable with, right? And for me, I think music is an art form. I want you to push yourself as a creative. When I listen to your music, I must be like, wow, what was going on in this guy's head? I like how he manipulated that sound. Or how he's telling that story, you know?
Yeah.
Not voro so every day.
Yeah, you won't listen to that. I mean, there's a specific time.
No,
Like,
I do.
Oh.
But I have to, like I just said, I have to be in that mood.
in that mood, yeah. Yeah.
Which is I have to be stupid drunk,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
works for that moment. And there are people that want that all the time.
True.
I'm not that market. I don't want wretchedness every day. My guys.
Yeah.
But everybody's important. But I think we need to start differentiating between, especially with the DJs, and understanding, okay, guys, there are entertainers and then there are DJs.
Yeah.
Which one are you? Most people can't tell the difference.
I take it for you, the DJ, ne?
I'm definitely an artist DJ. When I play a set, there's a concept. I don't just get there and play random music together. No. You know? But only real music lovers will understand. Oh man,
This guy's on a journey.
this is what he's doing. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
you know, it's an art. It's like a painting.
Yeah.
You don't just paint in jail, you know.
And then at the end, you're like, oh, what is it?
You know, right? But there are people that just literally,
Yeah.
when they DJ, they look at the charts. Oh, this is what people like, and then they just hoy together, And I'm like, okay, you made a lot of dope noise, but
Yeah.
what was going on in your head?
Do you even care at that point to find out?
And it's okay, guys. That's why I do niche content. There are different markets. It's about understanding, but you must be intentional. If you're a party DJ, be intentional.
Yeah.
For now my mission is to get people drunk so that they become thirsty, so that they order more drinks, so that the club is happy with me, so that they book me again, and then you can go home and make bad decisions.
Just like that.
It's about understanding, yes.
True.
Yes. You know, a dope DJ, there are DJs, man. There's a DJ that can play a set to say, okay, intentionally is like, I want to make women horny.
Oh.
Yes.
And that's the intention for the set.
Yes. Now that's brilliance. I've seen a guy do that.
Wow.
And by the end of the set, girls are grinding on people. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because
I get you.
yes, and those are normally the sets that people play, hip-hop sets, R&B sets, towards the end of the night. But that's an art form. You are being intentional. Do you understand? Because now it's time to go. You're trying to make the brews that's been buying the bottles life easier by playing those songs that are going to make,
You guys are in cahoots.
you know, no, it's a lineup is an art curation,
True,
guys.
it is. It
Even
really
when
is.
there are promoters that understand, okay, cool, this is how I'm gonna place out the artists.
Yeah.
You're not just booking anyone. No, you understand. Okay, cool. Mandy plays like this, so I'm gonna put it at this hour.
Yeah.
Spend money plays like this. You know what I mean? It's a story. Everything is an art form, guys.
True.
But sometimes people just come and mess up everything. You get to a place at 6 p.m. early already. Someone is playing Adiwele. You're like, dog.
And I mean,
It's not Adiwele time now.
No, and if you're playing it at that time, it also sucks because
yes.
the DJ wants to play it at 11, 12, can no longer play it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Ash.
You must know as a DJ, okay, at this time, this is what I must play. And you can play for 5 people and still play a dope set.
True.
Understand? There are time for hits. There are time for slow jams. But you know what I'm saying? But people don't get it, man.
Thank you so much, Andile. I think we can talk forever.
Yeah.
You have a world of knowledge in this entertainment business.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
And I didn't even talk about like the drama of the industry.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's the drama.
No, I'm just saying I'm glad I didn't.
Do we have time for the drama?
No. How long is it now? 2 hours?
Guys, I need to quickly tinkle as well. I'm holding on by
Yes, she's a new mother. So after you give birth, it's gone for you.
Okay, thank you. Yo.
The most famous person on my phone book. Yeah. Damn, bro.
Got everyone.
No, I'm trying to think who's the most famous. Okay, I have a lot of famous people, but that I don't normally talk to. Yeah. Right? The most famous person that I talk to like every other day is MoonChild Sanelli. MoonChild, ever since I've met her, she's never tried to sound like anyone. She's never tried to appeal to a crowd. But she's been intelligent enough to understand the power of collaborations. That's why she's been featured by everyone, Rom, even AMAPIANO, whatever you can think of, she's done it. But her music is very different, right? To a point where some people even used to call her whack because she's so different. But if you listen to her music, it's like the art form is just out of this world. Even Sir Elton John, if you follow music, you know who Sir Elton John is. Sir Elton John this past weekend was interviewing MoonChild, and he was going crazy over MoonChild's album. It's online, bro. Go to social media, you'll see it. He was interviewing MoonChild, and he was being a fan, saying, "Yo, I love your album," And MoonChild is always gigging like the rest of the whole year. She's always at some country, doing a show there. White people throwing themselves at her, So I think she's very unique, and that's the thing, man. Just be true to yourself. Don't try to be like the next guy. There's a market for you. That's why earlier on I was saying, when I as a DJ, I'm looking for my 50K group, who like how I DJ, I think in every art form, you must have your own village. And the toughest thing for a creative is the journey that you must go through from perfecting your art form, number one, and your village finding you or you finding them. And that's the whole journey of being a creative. Like, you go through that. You first find, well, okay, cool, I like doing this. And then you perfect it. And as you perfect it, you start finding your village. And then I think the most beautiful thing ever as a creative is when you get to a place where your art form is advanced and your village is meeting you halfway, and then you guys are just jamming together and creating music. And I think that's where MoonChild is now. She's at a place where she doesn't need to appeal to anyone. She found her village loves her, she's doing well, she's making money, touring the world, she's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, MoonChild is a must-have, hey? And then people who are interested in any of your platforms, where can they find you? Please.
Yo, guys, I spoke so much about Skipper. You know what I hate about Skipper, Nina? But I understand because I was doing it for like 12 years or whatever.
It's your baby.
Yeah, it always finds me, man.
It's in grade 4. Your baby's in grade 6.
It's 16 years now.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah. Skipper needs 16 years this year.
Grade 10.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I have a new platform called The Journalist DJ on social media. It's at The Journalist DJ. The whole point of this platform is to curate niche content, but more than anything, it's a platform that is connecting the corporate sector to the dance culture, right? So I do a lot of cool stuff with that, and kibisi.com still growing, business lifestyle, at kibisi on social media, or at kibisi.com. Oh, I've got so many platforms I don't even. Yeah. So check it out. It's about business lifestyle, entrepreneurship, also connecting corporate with entrepreneurs, right? And then vumanibo.com, same thing, connecting the spiritual world and formalizing it with the business corporate world.
Nice. And
curating cool content. Other than that, you can just catch me at The Journalist DJ on social media. When I DJ, I call myself The Journalist. And yeah, man, it's all about content. That's my love. And doing cool things.
Love that. That's dope.
Yeah.
You definitely should come back.
I do events as well. Oh, I forgot about that.
Sure.
I host events, house music events. Yeah, ish, man. I do a lot, man. Yeah.
But if they follow you, then they'll be able to find out what you're busy with at that moment.
Yes.
Yeah?
I'm a full-time creative, and I just want to create.
No day offs.
Yeah, no, I can't because I enjoy it so much.
It's like you're not working.
That's how it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm always like just hanging around. Yeah.
Chatting it up, having a good time, get paid for it.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Andile.
Need more money though. Money's not enough.
Is it ever though?
Yeah, no, but I guess I'm surviving.
Need money for a Porsche.
No, I don't. No Porsche.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. It's really dope catching up with you. There's so much I've learned about you. It's really, really cool.
And thanks, man, and good luck with the platform. I see the content is very dope quality.
Thank you.
Shout out.
Yeah, guys, and that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for our subscribers, our viewers. It's been great. Stay tuned. Please like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode. So we out. Cheerio.
Peace.